Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Man in America. I'm your host, Seth Holhouse. So, over the past couple of years, we've seen small businesses crushed, families torn apart, jobs lost because of mandates, and a relentless campaign against all of us who dared to speak up, and all over a hyped up, man made, pre planned pandemic that's made a handful of people filthy rich while ushering in a new form of technocratic tyranny for the rest of us. If you're anything like me, you've been praying for the day when these criminals be brought to justice. And attorney Tom Renz's billion-dollar lawsuit against the mad scientists at the center of this hoax is a major step in that direction. And it's just one of the many dominoes that are starting to fall for these perpetrators. And since it's about time we heard some good news, it's with the greatest pleasure I welcome attorney Tom Renz to my show today. But first, today's show is brought to you by Rise TV, a Patriot-owned streaming platform. With all the big tech censorship and demonetization going on right now, the subscribers at Rise TV are literally the reason I can bring you this critical information today. Over at Rise, our mission is to uncover the truth, no matter how dark and difficult, while always holding on to hope. We have a massive content library, an amazing community of patriots, and you get to hang out with me and my guests for the second half of every show and ask your questions and share your thoughts and ideas. So if you have any specific questions for Tom, make sure you join us on Rise TV. There's a link for a free trial in the description below. So you should go ahead and click it now so you're all ready when we cut the public streams for the exclusive Q&A during the second half of the show. Also, make sure you're following me on Telegram and Truth Social at Man in America. You can also catch every episode as a podcast if you just want to listen. There are links to my podcast and social media in the description below the video or podcast. Or just search for Man in America in your favorite podcast app and make sure you leave us a 5-star rating. It really helps us reach more people. Also, if you're watching this show on YouTube, please head over to Rumble. The topic we're going to be talking about today is definitely going to get me in trouble on YouTube, so please click on the Rumble link in the description below the video. And folks, by now, we all sense that we're in for a bumpy ride for the foreseeable future. Much of the world is going through a process that experts are calling de-dollarization, and China and Russia are leading the charge. So what does this mean? Well, the US dollar is a fiat currency, meaning it isn't backed by anything of value. The only thing that really gives our dollar real value is its demand around the world. But now, especially under the corrupt and incompetent Biden regime, the rest of the world is fed up with the Federal Reserve printing money out of thin air and demanding to trade it for things of real value. Though the dollar is strong right now, it's only because people are fleeing the European currencies, and its strength is short-lived. This is why Russia has already backed its currency with gold, and many other nations are expected to follow. But what happens if the dollar loses its global reserve status? Well, for most of us Americans, the US dollar is all we know, right? All of our hard-earned money is completely tied to it, whether it's the stock market, our bank accounts, pensions, 401ks, etc. The value of our dollars, our life savings could literally be wiped out in a matter of months, weeks, or even overnight. And look, I'm not a financial advisor, so please do your own research. But I believe that now, more than ever, it's a good time to consider transferring at least some of your wealth into physical gold and silver, real-world assets that have stood the test of time for 5,000 years. And for this, I'm confident recommending Kirk Elliott. You can buy gold and silver directly from him, even in small amounts, or you can even transfer your IRA into physical gold and silver with zero taxes or penalties. Now look, I want to be really clear with you though. You don't buy gold and silver to get rich. You do it to protect and preserve your wealth. So now's the time, folks. If you want to learn more about this, open up a new tab right now and go to goldwithseth.com, or you can call 720-605-3900 to speak to someone right now. Kirk Elliott's team of advisors will answer all of your questions and take care of you every step of the way. Again, that's 720-605-3900. Also, I'm sure a lot of you own your home. Well, the deed to your homes is the only document that proves that you own it. The problem is, though, the deeds to all of our homes are online now. So this means that a criminal can find your deed, forge your signature, and refile as the new owner of your home. They'll take out the loans using your home's equity and leave you in debt. FBI reports are showing that real estate fraud is one of the fastest growing cyber crimes in America, and this is already costing Americans massive amounts of money. And unfortunately, you won't know until its collection notices show up on the loans that you yourself never took out. Homeowners insurance doesn't cover you, and neither do common identity theft programs. Home Title Lock is your peace of mind that the deed to your home is protected, where you can protect your home equity and title for just pennies a day. So to learn more, go to hometitlelock.com/Seth and use the promo code Seth. Then enter your address for your no obligation home title scan to see if you're already a victim. It's a $100 value for free. Be sure to use my promo code Seth for your free title scan at hometitlelock.com/Seth, promo code Seth. All right, folks. If you're watching the news like I am, you feel like almost every day we're getting hit by something else. There's the next thing to worry about, and we feel like, gosh, we need to have some winning. We need to be fighting back and really gain some traction against these criminals. Now, attorney Tom Renz is someone who is on the forefront. He's on the front lines of fighting for the freedom-loving people around the world, and he just filed a massive billion-dollar lawsuit against these criminals. I'm so honored to have him on my show today. And the fact is, he's a fellow Ohioan, which makes him like even more cool. So anyway, let's go ahead and get to today's show. Tom, thank you so much for joining me today.
Seth, it's an honor to be here. I really enjoyed being with you the last time. And boy, I got to tell you, your standards for cool are pretty low.
Well, I'm a dad, so I'm out and wearing Birkenstocks with socks and doing all kinds of stuff like that. So for me, if someone's from Ohio and they're a patriot, they're like, they got 2 big checks in my book.
There you go. The dad thing destroys anything that's even remotely close to cool. So I understand that, and it's well worth the trade, but it certainly does.
It really is. So Tom, you're one of the people that whenever I watch an interview you do or read a story about you, like I was reading about you on Natural Health News this morning, I'm always left with encouragement because you're not someone who's out there just talking about the problems. You're on the front line doing something about the problems. And we've seen how the deep state, whatever you want to call these criminals, they've used lawfare against us in every way possible, whether it was about the election, medical, censorship, et cetera. And I feel that we're so lucky to have you on our team fighting using their own methods against them. And so I'm really excited to hear about this massive lawsuit that you've just filed against EcoHealth Alliance and some of the main characters that were there. So can you go ahead and just walk us through, what is this lawsuit that you've recently filed?
So the lawsuit is for the creation and subsequent release and then injury from that release of SARS-CoV-2, which is the virus that's thought to cause COVID-19. The way to think about this, right, because we got to break this down. We can't talk about it as a lawyer. It doesn't make sense to people because, lawyers are special and we don't speak English very often. So let me break it down like this. You decide to make a chemical factory, right? And you this chemical factory, you're going to make some sort of a super dangerous chemical. And you decide to build it, and your factory blows up, and the chemical releases. And it gets in the air, and it floats around, and it kills all sorts of people around the plant. Well, those people are going to sue you because you decided to make a dangerous chemical plant and the chemicals got out and it killed them. And you're going to lose that case because, well, you made a dangerous chemical plant and it did get out. And, that's just part of the deal. Under the law, if you undertake to do something that's an abnormally dangerous activity, you're typically held liable if the results of undertaking that activity are injurious to other parties, other people, right? That's precisely what we're alleging happened here. So these guys, EcoHealth Alliance and other defendants here, undertook to do this super dangerous gain-of-function research, which means modifying viruses and screwing with them and changing them so that they have more capability to infect or harm humans. That's about as dangerous a work as you can do, right? And not only did they do that, but they don't just modify it, they intentionally modified it in ways specific to facilitate it being more dangerous, not to everything, but to humans. And the reason they did that is they claimed that they were trying to determine, how it might evolve, these viruses might evolve, where they could, create a pandemic. the problem is you're creating the pandemic when you create the virus or facilitate the virus doing this. They're trying to guess at evolution, which is impossible. You think of how many variables would go into something like that. It's impossible. But that's what they did. So in this lab, they're working on this virus. They make it more dangerous. And the virus then is made more dangerous and gets out. Well, at the end of the day, this virus kills 6.5 million people, according to the WHO. And, for your audience, I know you got some sharp people watching. And so please don't email me and tell me that the WHO's numbers are garbage. I'm aware of the numbers, but
actually, Tom, one quick second. I just want to say that for the folks that are watching on YouTube, we're now going to cut the stream. We let it go a little bit so I can get a preview of what we're going to talk about as we get into the nitty gritty. So if you're watching on YouTube, please go to the description, click on the link. There's a Rumble link. Go watch it for free on Rumble. And actually stop watching YouTube anyway. Come on and join us on Rumble because they support free speech. So anyway, sorry, Tom, to interrupt you with that.
Oh, no, I'm glad to do it because, YouTube would have threw you off in a heartbeat. I can't believe, even